Machine Sentry Next Generation.
Once we have our hierarchy built down to asset level, we can then add the component parts that we want to monitor on that particular asset. In this example, we will add an electric motor and then a pump to our pump unit from the asset build video. Firstly, we need to be at the asset in question in the hierarchy on the left-hand pane in order to add a component to it. So start by selecting the asset. Then, use the three-dot menu next to the asset name to open the drop-down menu before clicking on Add Component. This will open a new window in the center of the screen in a similar manner to adding an asset into Machine Sentry. The first thing that you will be asked for is the component name and code. At component level, we recommend having a standard across the business for similar component types. So in this example, we will simply name the component electric motor with a code of EM. These naming references should be automatically added from the template. As this is being added to a specific asset, which in turn has a specific name and location, we can name components generically. Following this, we need to add the component type. So as you start to type in the field, Machine Sentry will open up a menu giving you various options based on the data that you have entered. So let's select electric motor. The next field asks for a template. Now this is one of the most important elements to adding a new component. We have a variety of component templates built into the Machine Sentry platform, and these will give you two key elements. One, they will give you a data collection point structure below your component, including both non-drive end and drive end bearings, unless stated otherwise, temperature points, and visual inspections as a minimum. This saves the user time in creating their own structure and just leaves the need to adjust accordingly if required. Secondly, we have the ISO 10816 standard alarms built into most of these templates, which gives us a baseline of vibration to work against once we start to collect data. So it is highly recommended to use the Machine Sentry templates. In this example, we will choose the rigid 1 to 15 kilowatt template, but please choose whatever power reference is appropriate to your component. Finally, we can add a lubricant type and specific lubrication in the final two fields. As you can see, the lubricant type is a drop-down menu with various options such as grease, oil, and aerosol, to name a few. The final field allows the user to search for a specific lubricant. So if we start to search for Petro-Canada products, for example, it will give us all the Petro-Canada lubricants we have built into Machine Sentry. If you happen to have a lubricant that doesn't appear in this list, please contact support with the lubricant details, and we can add this into the platform for you to select in the future. For this demonstration, we will be adding a grease point and Petro-Canada Precision XL EP2 with the electric motor. Once the window is complete, click Add in the bottom right to save. As you can now see, this has been added below the asset we created earlier, so you can now repeat the process to add in the pump unit. From this, you can see just how quickly it can be to add a component into the software. Once both components are added, our asset is now complete, and you can see if we can open each component up, the point structure below them, which comes from the component templates. As we did with the levels above, we can go back into any component and enter edit mode to add further details about the component, as you can see here. We can also rearrange any components in the hierarchy by simply dragging and dropping them in the tree, but this function can also be performed in the Asset Edit screen, as you can see here. One final useful building tool is duplication. Once you've created an area, asset, component, or point in the Machine Sentry hierarchy, you can use the duplicate feature to create an exact copy and move to wherever this may be required. Once you have selected the item you wish to duplicate in the hierarchy, go to the three-dot menu we used earlier and select Duplicate from the drop-down menu. This will allow you to then give the new copy a different code and name reference. Then once you hit Duplicate, you will have the copy available in the hierarchy. As with assets, another way in which we can add levels to the hierarchy is by right-clicking on the hierarchy level and choosing the appropriate option from the drop-down menu. Whichever way you choose is entirely down to user preference.
Machine Sentry Next Generation.